Hello, I am King the Math Guy, and welcome to another math video. And before we begin, let's do a little review of the previous video. In the previous video, we learned about numbers. We know that it can represent things in the quantities of things. We can have one apple, two apple, or three apple. And similarly, we can have one hand, we can have two hands, and we can have three hands. And that is and then we can also have 100 apples or a really big apple. And that is the numbers from 1 to 20, or we will later learn as the positive integers. However, I want to introduce another number today that is a little bit more special. And that number is called 0. So, before we proceed, let's think about what the number 0 actually represents. I'll give you 10 seconds. You can pause the video if you want to take longer, but here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, let's see the answer. The number 0 is what we use to represent no quantity at all. It is how we represent the idea of nothingness using math. Now, isn't that pretty fascinating? And maybe your answer is slightly different from mine, but I hope we have the same gist of idea. Now, let's talk about the history of the number 0 for a bit. At the beginning, there is this Indian mathematician called Aryabhata that pioneered the use of 0 in decimal place system, which we'll later learn what it is. And then the Arabic mathematician Al-Khwarizmi, he used 0 in the golden age of Islam and then preserved that knowledge. Then later, an European mathematician, Fibonacci, took the idea and popularized it in Europe. Fibonacci is an important figure in mathematics, and we will discuss him later. So let's see the number 0 in action. We have one apple, two apples, and we can have three apples. But we can also have 0 apples, which is quite literally no apples. And for hands, we can also do the same thing. We can have 1, 2, or 3 hands. But we can also have 0 hands, which is still nothing. So here is a simple question for you. Does 0 apple and 0 hands represent the same amount of things? Do they represent the same things? That's a nice question to think about. Now, we will end this episode of math with an ending question that will lead us into the next episode. So, suppose I have 3 apples, and my friend Jane gave me 2 apples. How many do I have left? Well, I hope you're gonna spend some time thinking about this question, and we will end this episode right here. I hope you enjoyed,